Gadfly Movie Night.
Hey y'all, welcome to Gadfly, the podcast about third parties, French candidates, and just generally weird American electoral history. I'm Dusty Wilson.
I'm Una O'Leary.
And we are doing something special tonight for the first time ever. We promised it 2 years ago on a whim. Tonight is the first
thing
ever.
No one asked for.
No one did. And I was like, this should be fun. And then I put it off for 2.5 years, as I do. And yeah, tonight we're doing our first ever Gadfly Movie Night. Because it turns out some of these people who run for office decide to be in the moving pictures as well. I've yet to find one that's good, but one day, who knows? So today, we're going with the very first one that I promised, Rescue Force, starring presidential candidate and congressional candidate, Bo Gritz. So, Una, you're pretty familiar with the Bo Gritz story. I believe we did a 3-parter on him because his life just kept getting weirder.
It kept going. Yeah.
It did. Like, when you thought you were at the end of this man's wild ride, he decided, no, I need a new chapter. I need to invent a new bonkers direction for my life.
I need a new coup.
Exactly. So before we get to that, I do want to welcome our guests. We have guests for the first time. This feels like
guests.
This is like a fancy
first time.
Yeah, first time ever. We've had guest actors do like some stuff, but this is a real deal.
We're so sorry. We did not clean the pod.
Oh no, we did not. This is how it always looks.
I wasn't going to say anything.
So yeah, the first of our two guests, she is I believe it's written here, a professional yeller and the director of Basic Adventuring 101, Jack Macklin.
Woo,
Hello. That is from 2016, Basic Adventuring 101, and I've done nothing since.
Look, if you don't want it brought up, don't put it on your IMDb. And our other guest, he is a comedy writer and the host of Uncanny Cinema, Linton Lewis.
Hey, Dusty. Happy to be here for your first guesting.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I've been on Linton's podcast a multitude of times watching terrible movies I've recommended and just buck wild Christmas movies that have been recommended to me, and it has been a delight all the way. Una, I watched a Christmas movie about how elves were made by Nazis, and then it gets weirder.
Oh no.
Yeah. We'll watch that one
together.
day.
That's bad allegory.
Yeah, Dial In for Santa Claus though, that's one on the list. If you want
it is not called Dial M for Santa Claus.
Oh, is it Dial In for Santa? Dial Noel for Santa?
No, you're combining an Alfred Hitchcock movie with.
Damn it. What was it called again?
It's Code Pair Noel.
Yes.
But there were other titles.
Noel.
Deadly Games and Dial Code Santa Claus.
There it is.
There you go.
Yeah.
There it is.
It's a French horror movie about a guy who pretends to be Santa Claus and tries to murder this French Macaulay Culkin Home Alone type.
And there are traps.
Uh-huh.
So many traps,
Yeah.
secret rooms, dog gets thrown into a net.
They went through a lot of dogs in that movie.
They
That's all I'll say.
Oh.
But yeah, going from those movies, we're moving into this one, Rescue Force. So a bit of a heads up on this movie. It was written, directed, and produced, a holy trinity of bad news wherever you go, by a dude named Charles Nizet. He was born in Belgium in the 1920s. He directed, I believe, about 6 movies prior to directing this. All of them various forms of sexploitation and genres.
That makes sense.
His first movie, Mission Africa, was a World War II movie he filmed in his backyard. Most of his movies are filmed in his backyard or on property of friends of his. There's Slaves of Love, The Ravager, which is about a sex murderer, Three-Way Split, which is about sex murder, Voodoo Heartbeat, which is about a guy with fangs and I think sex murder.
This guy learned about the Congo and then took the wrong lesson from it.
And then finished that up in 1974 with Help Me, I'm Possessed.
That
How much
sounds like
sex
the
murder
sanest.
is in that one?
Ghost sex
Wait, what?
murder.
I think that's probably why it's his last movie, is it's like there's definitively less. So he also wrote Slaves of Love and Voodoo Heartbeat and produced Mission Africa and Help Me, I'm Possessed. But this is his first time writing, directing, and producing at the same time. So also I do need to say the sad news is that in 2003, he was mysteriously murdered in Brazil.
Oh.
I wish I could find the website where I read this, but he essentially just skipped town one day and went to Brazil, pissed off everyone in town, and then one day just disappeared.
Oh, no.
And eventually they found his body.
Huh.
Yeah. So
The movie
you're in good
became true
hands.
life.
I doubt it will surprise you. This movie features a lot of folks where this was their first time doing a movie. The editor
You don't
Will
say.
the editor Will Zins. This was his first time ever editing a film.
That explains everything. everything. Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Chris Kabatis is technically credited with doing the music, but he only did the Rescue Force theme. The rest was music bought through the Riviera Library, hence why everything sounds like it's from the 50s and free.
Yup.
And the director of photography is a guy named Pierre Fattori, who has had about 150 French movies that he's made as the director of photography, most of which I think are porn.
Oh, okay. I was shocked until that makes sense. This movie gives heavy porn vibes.
And our good old friend Bo actually co-directed the aerial sequences because he owns his own plane.
That
that's
also
helpful.
Yep. I watched this. I was like, this is somebody's plane. Somebody just like wants a plane to be in this.
And I will say too, there are two somewhat famous people in this movie. There's Richard Harrison, who plays a chief CIA agent. And I think here's the problem. The movie isn't very clear on who characters are or what their names are or establishing them. So
I disagree because it comes up with actual indicators telling you what character names are and what they do.
One time, and they're up for about 2 seconds.
Oh no, well, yeah. But I'm just saying that like most movies don't do that at all because they want the characters to feel integrated in the plot and not just Sam Johnson. All right, everybody knows it's Sam Johnson, right? We're moving on.
You know he's in Beirut, right? All right, good. We're good. But yeah, we'll talk more about the cast as they're introduced to us. But I would like to introduce you guys more thoroughly to Bo Gritz, who played Lieutenant Colonel Steele.
I'm Jack Steele. I'm the stations chief here in Tel Aviv.
Dare I say, maybe the best actor in the movie.
Oh, no.
The bar's so high. How could you choose?
I know. It was really tough. So Bo Gritz was born in Enid, Oklahoma in 1939, and he'd become a lieutenant colonel in the Army. So I find it kind of cute. He was like, no, you're not giving me a higher rank in this movie. He would end up joining the Special Forces, which sounded like a lie, but it's actually true. He was a Special Forces Army person. He served in Vietnam, Latin America, and the Middle East, doing just a whole world of shady shit for the most part. His heroic exploits of daring do and saving people would supposedly inspire Hollywood to base a few characters off his life. This includes Chuck Norris's character in Delta Force, Hannibal Smith in the A-Team, and Rambo. So one story that Bo Gritz would tell is that he and his group of folks went to go find a downed airplane in enemy lines. And when they got there, all the Viet Cong were hanging out there. There were like dozens of them there, and they had to like shoot their way through to get the black box of this plane. And, thousands of people almost died, but Bo got him out and it was totally fine. And then about 2 years after he's been telling the story forever, they start asking the people who served with him. And they're like, yeah, that didn't happen. We showed up, no one was there, and we took it. So this is the kind of guy that Bo Gritz is, to give you that basis.
Did he make the claim about Rambo or have others? Because of the ones you said, and I didn't read extensively on him, but I did see the Hannibal Smith from the A-Team. Mm-hmm. But of the ones you said, like Rambo strikes me as the weirdest because from my memory of the original Rambo, it's based on a novel. The original Rambo, it's like John Rambo comes back from Vietnam. He's fucked up. The government doesn't give a fuck about him. And then he like goes crazy in the woods. And it's only the later ones that it's like the Rambo with machine guns that we think of. Because the first one's like like a kind of serious movie about being a struggling Vietnam War vet. Mm-hmm. So if he's self-aggrandizing, it would be weird that they would base John Rambo off of him unless he just was like, oh yeah, John Rambo's based off me. Yeah, I'm Rambo.
Your instincts are correct.
All right, there we go.
So of those three, the Delta Force character is based off of him, mainly because he wrote a book about Delta Force and Chuck Norris just like ran with it. Hannibal, I'm not entirely sure where that connection is, but I definitely get the feeling that Bo Gritz, during his whirlwind tour trying to gain fame post-Vietnam War, just kind of started picking up tough guy images and said, oh yeah, that was me. That was entirely based on me.
Can I just say, I really can't stand that Rambo's first name is John. I hate that.
It should be Rambo. I mean,
it should be Rambo, first of all.
Right.
But
it's a single name like Cher or Madonna.
Yes,
right.
Absolutely. But if he must have a first name, it's got to be better than John. Like, that's just, I can't stand it.
Right.
Who's that?
Rambo would be fine.
Yeah.
It's Jake Rambo.
Jake Rambo. Yeah, come on. Can't stand
Jake Rambo, you're selling Ford F-150s by the highway. I know you. So let's get into the movie. Linton, I think you made a very good point that every single scene that we get is treated with a chyron of where we are, who it is. And so the chyron lets us know that we are in Syria. I don't know. I want to ask you guys.
Well, I just want to throw out the one that there was probably more before and there's definitely more after, but the one that caught my eye first was when so they have Middle Eastern characters, but I don't think anyone in this movie is actually like played by anyone of that heritage.
Yeah.
But so they have a chyron come up that says terrorist leader and son Yusuf.
Yep.
That was what came on screen. And I was like, all right, I have to write that down because it's just insane.
You know what? I think that's a great place to start. There is one guy who's Turkish. The guy who plays Yusuf's dad, Hussein, is a Turkish actor. But yeah, that's it. Everyone else is just white dudes and sometimes brown face and sometimes not.
Well, that's the most Hollywood part about this movie.
The thing I love about Yusuf is he is rocking the Arab world's favorite hairstyle in the 80s, the hardcore mullet.
Mm-hmm.
Like he looks like he just hopped out of a NASCAR and is ready to defeat the imperialist powers. But yeah, and so we essentially get the idea that, Yusuf and Hassan are running this terror cell. I think they said they're part of the Palestinian Liberation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which made me wonder why they're in Syria. I didn't do much history to know if they were there in Syria, but
I doubt the filmmakers did either.
Yeah.
I will ask you this. How convinced were you that was Syria, that they were like deep in the Middle East?
0%, especially because I'm pretty sure I saw some Joshua trees in a bunch of shots. And I was like, well.
I mean, I just kind of assumed they shot in the same place where the Batmobile used to drive out in the 60s show.
Yeah.
Nice.
I did a little research into that. The one of the producers, R.B. Wallace, I believe, it's his land. And the only reason I know this is he did go to court because they tried to take it by eminent domain at some point. But yeah, how do you guys feel about the movie in general before we start diving into plot points?
First of all, I watched it on YouTube and it was definitely ripped from a VHS and it was painful to look upon. But even if it were a crystal clear, like remastered Blu-ray or 4K or whatever, it would still be such garbage trash. Like it was awful. This was very Birdemic-esque, if people know what that is, but less entertaining. So this was like, this was a struggle to watch, especially because the YouTube link, it showed the movie was like 2.5 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
And I got about 15 minutes in and I'm like, I've got to be halfway at least. Like I must, this cannot keep going. And I was dying. I kept pausing it to calculate how much longer was left. Thank goodness it was only an hour?
Hour 20.
Hour 20. And it's just that the YouTube link decides to show the movie a second time, just in case you missed it the first time. But I've never been so relieved in my whole life as to when those credits rolled.
Linton, you're like the movie expert that I know most. How do you feel about this gem?
So for myself, Dusty mentioned that I have a podcast, Uncanny Cinema, and we watch a lot of obscure movies is the focus of that podcast. We can talk about it at the end of the show and everything. But so we watch a lot of obscure movies, but within that, there's a lot of like bad films. And sometimes we'll watch stuff that I haven't seen. And so we'll go into an episode and we won't know like how it's going to be. But a lot of times when I'm picking like a bad film, I have seen it or I know enough about it and there's stuff to talk about on it or whatever. This for me is like the worst kind of bad film in that it's just boring as fuck. Like there's a lot of like bad films that are like out there and crazy. Like Dusty, you mentioned the Christmas ones I had you on with, which was Elves and Dial Code Santa Claus. And those are just like bug fuck crazy, out there bad movies. And so there's a lot to talk about, a lot of funny stuff. But this, it was a struggle for me to watch just because it's amateurish, poorly made, poorly acted, written, the whole shebang, all across the board. And then, vaguely or explicitly racist, depending on how much you're paying attention at a given moment. So I'm just being totally honest with you. I watched to maybe about 50 minutes. I did know, Jack, that it looped. Dusty had told me I had forgotten. And then I saw it was like 2.5 hours. I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, wait a minute. No, he said something about this. And I checked. I was like, all right, so it's only like an hour 20. Good. I looked at the preview. So I got about 50 minutes watching it normally. And I still had a half hour left. And this was last night. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. And so I watched it, but I went to the settings on YouTube. I was like, what kind of speed options you got here, YouTube? I went to 1.75, which is the highest YouTube goes.
Very nice. Very nice.
But here's the thing. The last 30 minutes is mostly just really shitty action sequences. So it really didn't
Same
affect
thing.
much. It
did
just
not.
sped them up. And then like when characters were talking, you could still like understand the dialogue well enough. So I was like, okay, so cut down that half hour to maybe, you know, I don't know, like closer to 15 minutes.
Mhm.
I just love the idea of being at like 2 times speed. Like, oh God, I can still understand what's happening. No.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Those action sequences, I did a little research. Apparently, he's never been good at those. His master stroke seems to be that whenever someone's getting shot at, they teleport away from the shot and then squids
Yes.
go off.
Yes.
That happened a lot during his very first movie, Mission Africa.
Happened a lot in this movie.
Yeah,
also.
it did. I don't know how you do that other than just by hiring an editor who's never edited a movie before.
Ugh.
Rector is bad at these action sequences.
Oh yeah, he just
Why does he keep making them then? Why are all of his films sounding like very actiony?
the impression that I get is that that Charles Nizet understands that, you know, 2 things sell. You gotta have sex and you gotta have explosions. And if you want a little extra, it's gotta be America. And with those 3, you can sell a movie to anyone.
Gotta
is
get
this
that
movie
international
for,
market.
I'm sorry?
Who is this for?
Man.
Who's this movie for? Really?
Republican men, Jack.
I think even then, this is not, I don't know. This is like so bad that
I think this is a movie that you would see on a VHS tape in a truck stop that would get bought quite often in the early 90s.
Yes.
truck stop I could see. All right.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to end up in family video at any point in time. Yeah, I could even see like USA passing on this and just, you know, running silk stockings again.
Amazing.
Well, real quick, you asked us, but
Yes.
what are your 2 takes on this film?
Oh man. So I didn't watch it before I recommended it because I had a feeling that if I did, I couldn't do the episode. And I really wanted to kickstart this
And
project
right you
somehow.
were, Dusty. Right you were.
Man, I was watching it today, and my first feeling was shame. My second
Good.
feeling was anger at how someone could make explosions so boring.
Right.
So are you
Right?
saying you went through all the stages of grief during this film? Is
I
that what
believe
you're
I
telling us?
did. I mean, there was definitely confusion at points just because, I mean, it's a Charles Nizet movie. Sex has to show up at some point, and he introduces nothing well. So when anything happens, it's whiplash. And yeah, it was kind of like being spun around a bunch and then just not really understanding anything that's happening. It's a painful time. But that being said, I don't know. There were like 2 or 3 things that I thought were so wacky it kind of made it worthwhile, but as a whole, not so much. I think it would have been different if I could tell who the characters were without the chyrons at any point in time.
Like, I get what they're going for with that, but they didn't have a special effects editor or like anyone to bring in like zoomy, chic Jason Bourne type.
Yeah, they didn't have that like
Now we're in
clickety-clack.
Paris.
Yeah, they didn't have that like clickety-clack text that usually comes up on
Yes.
movies nowadays.
Yes.
But here's the thing, even then, like if you're even looking at that mode, I mean, Silence of the Lambs does that, where it
Mhm.
shows where you're at, Baltimore or wherever they're at. And yeah, like 24 or whatever, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Even then, I don't think they really ever do it with character names. They do it with places. They'll
Yeah.
like say that you're in Langley and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But they don't like spell out who characters are on there. Yeah, it's just a total rarity and weird thing.
And they show establishing shots when they're saying, hey, here's the city they're in. They'll actually show the city, not another white dude sitting behind a desk. That gives me nothing about Syria or wherever the heck they are.
That brings up a really good point. In Charles Nizet's movies, you get one of 3 establishing shots. You either get, you're in the middle of the desert and it's some country. There's some white dude sitting at a desk and it's questionable whether he's going to be good at what he does or not. Or there's number 3, which I think segues very, very well into what the movie is really about. And the third is that Charles, he's going to give you some nudity, just enough
Yep.
to sell this at a truck stop and not get in trouble.
Not get in trouble for not having nudity, you mean?
I mean, for having too much. He's in that fine. You got to like thread the needle for truck stop videos.
Thread that booby needle. Yep.
Yeah. So about 50 minutes in the movie after we are introduced.
Whoa,
to
you
Sorry,
keep
go on,
jumping
go on.
ahead. Sorry, you're the host, but I want to hear Una. What's your take on this terrible, terrible movie?
I thought we were all going to be watching it together. I forgot to do the homework. I have it playing on mute. I'm like,
Oh, you're watching the good
another part
version.
of the screen. I feel like this is perfect for
I was gonna say this is amazing.
That's cool. That's cool.
for our podcast. It's like I always come in not knowing anything, so why would this be any different? But the other part is I just did a timestamp check, and as we've been talking, it's only been 10 minutes of the film, and it's gone on forever. Like
Yes,
even just
thank
like
you.
half watching while engaging with
Yes.
you fine folk. I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
Yep. Yes.
Give me that
Yes.
one.
Yeah, this is what Dusty did to us.
Yeah, all for the sake of content. But yeah, and so we get introduced to the PLO. They're doing terror crimes, but also America blows up their barrel depot at some point using about 7 walkie-talkie bombs that just keep coming.
America.
And they have to show every single one.
Okay.
Yes.
No, we got it. We're good.
Like either you have to understand that they're just very low powered, so you need to use a bunch for that explosion, or it's just
I
Are you
know you're
talking-
just reusing the film.
Are you talking about the covert operation at the beginning?
yes.
The very well lit covert
Uh-huh.
operation.
Where they cut through serious chain link fence to blow up a barrel.
And you watch them cut through like 10 bits of the chain link, and you're like, I get it. We don't need to keep watching this. Why are you still showing me that they're doing this?
Usually movies would show them cutting the last bit, implying they cut the other
Correct.
bits, and then the plot would be allowed to progress from there.
And those directors are cowards.
I think this is a valid question to track. Does Charles Nizet have object permanence?
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, so this happens. The PLO is pissed off. I believe I wrote this down. Everything they did in Retaliation, which sounded like a decent movie if we got to see it. But they killed a couple dudes, knocked out a battalion, I believe, and blew up the trade center in Beirut.
Wait, who did?
The PLO. They blew up an
Okay,
entire
great,
trade
thanks.
center in Beirut, which Beirut's very very well known for their trade center. But
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
yeah, such an important point. It would have been great to see it.
That's okay. Let me just mention that is a perfect moment for me to bring this up.
Yes.
In a movie, it's generally a good rule to show, not tell. That's, it is a movie. You're there to watch it.
Yeah.
This movie takes the complete opposite approach. It is no show, only tell. Like
Mhm.
everything, all things happen off screen in this movie, except for 100,000 explosions that you have to watch every single one of. But like, there's so much that just a dude will answer the phone and be like, yeah, they just blew up this thing in Beirut.
Jim, last night someone blew the hell out of the PLO fuel depot at El Cassin. Looks like the place is a complete wipeout.
And it's like, cool, that would have been good. Oh, this person's dead now. I don't even know who that was, but it would have been cool to see him die.
Yeah.
Too
Yeah,
bad.
didn't get a cry on for him.
Look, he's only allowed to film in Nevada and in one restaurant in France, and like somewhat
the
stealthily in Cannes.
If we're talking about just like kind of basic structure of like plot or lack thereof, there's one big glaring bit for me. So when I went on IMDb, I normally will look up like trivia to see if there's anything interesting to talk about, like when I do my show. And there really wasn't for this. Big surprise. No one has entered in any special trivia for 1990s Rescue Force. But the synopsis read, after the abduction of an ambassador and his daughter, the rescue force is sent to liberate them from their Palestinian captors. Okay, and so that's what I knew going into this movie. But the beginning of the movie is the rescue force is like doing other shit and threatening some guy that they end up killing. And then there's like some mention later, as Dusty's talking about, of like, and I think Jack alluded to with the, the movie telling instead of showing, that there's characters just talking about this ambassador and his daughter get abducted at some point. But we do not meet these characters who are propelling the plot. They are propelling the plot. They're propelling the rescue force. So our heroes, our supposed heroes, are supposed to be rescuing them. We do not meet them until 50 minutes into an hour and 20 minutes. That's the first time they're on screen.
Yep.
And then they get some stuff in the back end where they're like under threat or whatever. And there's so many movies that you can think of where like a character's been kidnapped and it propels the plot. Like, if nothing else, Escape from New York. That was like 1981. The president gets captured, and it's all throughout the movie where it's like, all right, they've got him and they're doing this stuff and Snake Plissken's got to rescue him. But that's particularly bad. And it reminds me, I'm going to go slightly off the rails here, but it reminds me of the 2015 Fantastic Four movie, which did a similar terrible thing where it had Victor Von Doom, who is like a friend of the Fantastic Four. And then he obviously becomes Doctor Doom, but he doesn't become Doctor Doom until like an hour 15 into like an hour 40-minute movie, something like that. It's real late in the game. So that movie did not have a villain and thus did not have a threat in a comic book movie. So that one is probably worse since that had actual studio money behind it. But this one's still real bad in that the characters just don't even show up for almost an hour.
I'm going to go even further and assume that there's a villain origin story for the screenwriter of Taken, like as at like an impressionable age, they watched this movie and was like, wait, I could do better.
Mm-hmm. And they did.
They sure did.
So if we're going to hop to a plot point that really sticks, I think we do need to talk about who is the rescue force.
Oh my God, who knows?
Yeah, I know. It is very confusing. Jack, what is your best guess as to who is the rescue force?
Okay, I wrote down some names that kept reoccurring. Whether or not they connect to anyone in this movie, I have no idea. There's an Agent Stryker, who later they refer to this person with his first name, but not till way later. I think it's Charlie Stryker.
Yep.
So that's one of them. Then there's a girl, Kiki.
Yeah.
There's
Kiki
at
is
least
correct.
one girl. There may be two. It's Angel, I think, is another one.
Yep.
End of list that I have. I think there's another man somewhere, but mostly Kiki, Angel, and Stryker are the ones that I was familiar with. And then you see a bunch later. There's a bunch of women at the end, all dressed in quote unquote military outfits. If the military was doing low budget porn. But they don't have names, just boobs.
So, Dusty, if you're expecting me to remember any of these character names, you shouldn't. But as far as that question of like who the rescue force is, I mean, it's really a mishmash. The whole movie is like mashing together Rambo, the A-Team, and Charlie's Angels. And Stryker does pop out because he seemed to be like the team leader. I did not catch the other names, but I vaguely, as Jack was saying, I was like, okay, yeah. But the fact that someone's named Charlie and someone's named Angel, I don't think is an accident, because the rescue force, my answer to your question is the rescue force is a bunch of sexy ladies who are taking it out, taking guys out with machine guns. So I think Stryker is their Charlie, and they are the rescue force a la Charlie's Angels.
I think it's pretty spot on. Yeah, I will say I did have a lot of trouble tracking Charlie Stryker, mostly because the name changes, but also Charles seems to have a habit of making everyone dress the same, so I can't really tell who's who.
And did you notice they kept introducing these characters, but the whole time they're on screen, they have their hand or something in front of their face, so you cannot see their face while they're talking.
Yeah.
And I was like, how am I supposed to know who this is at any other point in the movie when you will not show me their face? And it kept happening, scene after scene after scene.
I think that was written into their contracts. I think none of these people wanted to be visible on screen.
Shame.
And this was like the Arrested Development way of doing it. Like when they cover their face with a coffee cup when they swear, it's like they had to come up with ways like, all right, well, they got to have something in front of their face because legally we can't show them.
Una, as you're watching it, please just, are you noticing
I just want to
happening?
know, because there are two white guys behind a desk and one looks like a busted Ditka. Which one is that Gritz?
That's Gritz.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The star of the movie. The
Also,
head of the rescue force.
Doesn't Ditka look like a busted Ditka though?
You're lucky you're not in Chicago. Well, in the suburbs. That's a crime in the suburbs. Yeah, so I am curious. What do you think of Bo Gritz's acting in the whole thing?
I did write down that there is not a single actor in this whole movie. So acting is such a strong word.
Yeah.
Wow.
What he's doing.
Jack, I'm about to ruin your day because there are two actors with over 100 credits in this movie.
Okay.
But are the credits in San Fernando Valley or are they in Hollywood?
These are mostly Hollywood-ish. So the first CIA agent to pick up the phone who goes, "Hello."
Yeah.
And then just like continues on like he's reading his lines off his desk.
which I'm sure he is.
That is Richard Harrison. Richard Harrison became somewhat famous in the 60s doing really bad sword and sandal movies. Then in the 70s, he went to do really bad westerns. And then throughout the 80s, he did really bad ninja movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
So this man has credits and that's how he's acting. But the other is one of the nameless commandos who has no lines. There's a dude by the name of Don Davis. Now, Don has had a very extensive acting career. His main credits you would know him for is he played Dana Scully's dad in The X-Files.
Oh, gosh.
I didn't know. I saw him on IMDb, but I didn't actually notice him in the film. But I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I fought like hell to try to find him in the movie, but he's hidden behind so much bad camera work that I have no idea when he is.
He's on Twin Peaks. That's his biggest thing, really.
Yeah, and Stargate was his other big thing. So yeah, he's like the best actor that they were able to bring in on this, has no lines and is unrecognizable throughout the entire goddamn movie.
And he wrote that into his contract. Just give me the check. Put me behind a column.
So, Dusty, you were asking about Bo Gritz's acting.
Yes.
And I don't have a whole lot. I mean, I'll say that.
No notes.
He does. Yeah. Here's the thing. He does. You kind of alluded to this earlier. He does have more stage presence than some, like most people on here. Like he's at least like leaning into this like kind of braggart dude. He's not awkward on camera the way that some people who just like are not used to acting, because obviously that's not his background. So I'm not saying he's good, but he at least has like, I assume you're going to go into it with his, his politics. I'm sure he has a very like kind of out there public persona, kind of, he can kind of glad hand an audience kind of thing. I was getting that kind of vibe. But there's two lines of dialogue that I felt are worth throwing out that he delivered, probably some others. One was the line,
Now, don't die. That's an order.
Yep.
And then the other one, he's talking to one of the Charlie's Angels, one of the rescue force ladies. And he says,
Sweet Jesus, Angel, you're a sweet pain in my posterior. You just get the cheeks of your fanny moving toward that airport before I order you up a hot fudge enema.
You know, I think he speaks really well to his management skills. He does seem to really love the word fanny. I don't believe that any of those lines were written in the script because they're too character driven and too creative to be him. The only line I think that actually was written is when he's talking to Stryker and like I don't know. Oh yeah, Stryker and either Angel or Kiki, I don't know which, go into a hotel and kill someone to get information to find out where the ambassador is. And Bo talks to him and he asks him like, "Oh, did you clean everything up?" He's like, "Yeah, of course I did." And he's like,
That's your style, Stryker. If there weren't a few hair, eyes, and teeth around, it wouldn't be you.
Yep.
and he repeats that line again later. Is this, I want to know if this was written into the script, that's bad writing, but also is this something that you said all the time when you were in Nam?
Oh, good question. That's like, there are a couple of the like colorful, what in the world does this mean that really do ring as, this is stuff the military people said. Like, these are weird phrases that just...
No, I bet even the military people are like, what the fuck was that? And then like somebody who served with him was like, oh yeah, Bo used to always say this weird fucking shit. I don't know.
We had to call a JAG to get him to stop. It was very uncomfortable. But Linton, you have gifted me a segue to tell you a little bit about how Bo was post-Vietnam in the regular world. So after he bragged himself up as this really tough super soldier or Rambo type, started getting all these book deals, got really 80s famous for being a real live action person, he would hook himself up with the missing in action POW movement, which I'm sure you've seen the flags that's like, the black flag that says POW on it. One of the things I didn't know going into the episode is that it was actually a bit of a scam in that not that many POWs were actually left behind, but there was a small cadre of dudes who kept moving that scam forward so that distraught families would continue to pay them to go over to Vietnam or Laos to try to find them.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. And so Bo in particular, though, I think actually believed that there were people still over there. And this is because at some point, a Vietnamese conman decided he's going to try to make some money from the CIA, drew up a really crappy map and said, oh, this is where people are being held in Laos. The military looked into it, very quickly were like, oh, that's a camp that hasn't been used in months. No one's there. And so he took his information to Bo, and Bo decided, I'm going to do something about it.
I'm a hero.
Yeah. So he called up all of his friends, contacted a couple of people in the Reagan administration to let them know he was doing this, and somewhat got the go-ahead from some low-level fucks.
He left a note.
Yeah, you always leave a note if you're going to try a coup. And so he got 20 of his friends, rented out a cheerleader camp in Florida, and just started running drills, training them to invade Laos. He also brought along 2 journalists to catalog the whole experience to let the world know what was going on after the coup was done. But he did repeatedly tell them, hey, if you tell anyone what happens here, I'm going to have to kill you.
Cool.
And so he did.
So they did. They went and started telling everyone because I don't think the government actually signed off on this. And the few people we know said they have no idea what this is.
Didn't put it in writing too? Like it was just like blunder after blunder. Yeah.
And to make things even more fun, that not only did they say that he's planning to have a coup in Laos, they also said that the training had gone less from military exercises and more to Bo just preaching at them for hours on end. And so with this invasion ruined, the first attempt was canceled. In total, Bo would try 4 times to invade Laos. My personal favorite would be his third. He got together with that con man friend of his from Vietnam, and the con man friend said, hey, I know a warlord in Laos, and when you get into the country, if he likes you, he can pair up with you, and then you have an even bigger army once you get there. Bo even went to Laos to go meet this guy in the middle of the jungle. The impression I got was the warlord was very disinterested in what this guy had to say, but since he could make a little money out of this. And so when Bo's people went across the border and into Laos for the first successful time, they got in just far enough and then were attacked by the warlord, had all their shit stolen, and Bo called an immediate retreat, accidentally leaving one guy behind and increasing the prisoner of war population by 1.
Imagine Saving Private Ryan, but you're watching it backwards.
Yes.
So yeah, just the prisoner of war thing. I'm just curious about, like you might not have come across all of it, but you would presumably know more than me on it because I've never dug into it. So when you're talking about the prisoner of war stuff being a scam, is that like specific to the post-Vietnam idea? Because I know there actually were some prisoners of war after Vietnam, and then but also became like a popular culture thing where like, you know, right wingers would be like, there's still guys out there 15 years on, like, and it's literally in one of the Rambo movies.
Yeah,
takes that like in the 80s that there are still Vietnam vets trapped like for the last 20 years or something. So is that specific to Vietnam? And if so, it just makes me wonder, because I remember those POW flags being around a lot during the Gulf War in 91. Like they either made a resurgence, like people might have been putting them out earnestly, or were these people trying to like, hey, let's get the scam going again. We got another war on.
I think by the time it hit the Gulf War, it was very much in earnest. The number of people pulling this as a scam were like in a handful, maybe like 4 or 5 guys who were willing to take people's money, go over to Vietnam and make attempts to try to find people. Overall, it's not like some overarching scam that everyone was a part of. It's more just like, yeah, there's some prisoners of war, but we can make it seem bigger and give it a bigger life and make money off of this.
Yeah.
Barbara Goldsmith has a really good book on the complications of this and how people were essentially taken for a ride all this time and really had their grief entirely postponed off the hopes that they would end up getting their family back. But yeah, a lot of it now is definitely more of a marker of honor and things like that rather than people trying to reboost a scam, except for, I don't know, flag makers maybe. Bo would try one more time to invade Laos. Right as he got to the Laotian border, people just started shooting at him and then retreated immediately. So 4 attempts, none of them worked, and he did not get in any trouble for these attempted coups.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So we'll put him in a movie. We'll have him go to Nevada and be the maybe best actor in this whole damn thing. So, all right, I guess we have to talk more of the plot here. So
I guess.
So Kiki, Angel, and Stryker and other questions have been told where Hassan, the head of PLO, is. I guess they go and assassinate him, and now Yosef is furious for revenge, and he concocts a plot. He's gonna kidnap the U.S. ambassador to Israel, and I guess his daughter too. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a scheme is this?
I don't know. It's like, to what end? I don't know. There's nothing in this movie makes any sense. Nobody has any character or development or growth or anything. So he does declare it with the same amount of he attempts to declare it with the same amount of passion that National Treasure does with, I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence. Like, this is my only shot. This is what I have to do. And it's going to be perfect. But it's like, okay, and then what? Like, I think they talk about making money from them and ransom.
that does seem like the good idea. Like it's tried and true.
It just is bizarre. It's a bizarre. I don't understand any of it. It's nonsense.
I do really love that when they're leading up to like we're gonna kidnap the ambassador. They're kind of just talking terror shop, like a bunch of comedians sitting around at the bar. It's like, man, you hijacked that plane. That was fucking great, man. It was so good. Wish I could do as good as that, man.
I forgot about that scene where it was just like going through his list of like, look at these cool things that I've done in the past.
Yeah,
and now
it's not even Joseph. It's some other guy. Like that guy should be in charge. Clearly, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
fucking nepotism, man. Linton, what plan would you have done instead if you were Joseph? Linton, what terror would you have done?
Yeah. Like, you're asking me to write a better plot for this movie, which I could, just I would have needed some more prep time. Because I'm starting with nothing here. I don't have any kind of building blocks. So
like you're surrounded by your bros in the Nevada Syrian desert. You want some revenge for your dad getting shot.
Oh, it's the dad?
Right.
Yeah, Joseph's dad gets shot. They kill the one actor with credits who got lines.
Well, now it's like, okay, so that's why you grabbed the daughter as well.
Okay.
There's a family thing there.
I mean, I guess it depends if you want money or revenge. Because if you want revenge, then you would presumably do some kind of American soil terrorist attack or try to kill some kind of high-ranking politician or something. But if you want money, then it's like a whole other kind of scheme. So but I don't really want to think about the movie that deeply, so I'm going to pass on the question.
I think my feeling is that why wouldn't you go after the rescue force? They've been that seems like what a movie should and would do.
Yep.
Okay, all right, I can see that. But do they even know the rescue force exists?
I don't think
it seems the way the movie presents it, it seems like the rescue force is like a secret band of sexy ladies. Yeah. Because the first time we're introduced to one of the rescue force ladies, I think, is we have a topless woman walking on a beach toward the camera, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then and then she's like talking on the phone, and she's reporting back to Stryker or somebody because she's been watching some ship offshore for like 4 days straight. So she's been
the
like
terrorist ship.
Terrorist yacht. Yes, terrorist yacht.
There hasn't been any action on that yacht whatsoever. It hasn't moved for 4 days.
So she's been laying on the beach for like 4 days, like acting like she's out there tanning or whatever. But really, she's a covert spy. And then there's another lady later on who's like watching from a dune buggy or a Jeep or some shit with some binoculars.
Ladies, all with perms. Yes.
But my point is that this is all like covert stuff. So they're not like James Bond or anything where like they're out there and everybody knows Kiki. It's not like they're a world famous spy. So I don't even know if the terrorists would know who the fuck the rescue force is, which does make the rescue force seem pretty competent at what they do. So
yeah. Who's to say these aren't just girls on spring break?
Woo, spring break. Woo.
Yeah.
Spring break.
Woo. Uzis.
I will say there was a part, and I don't know like if the script was trying to make a joke or what, but at one point they're like handing out weapons in like the back half of the movie, and it's like the Bo Gritz guy is giving stuff out, and he has some kind of like big fucking Uzi or something, and then he says like, oh, now we got a more feminine weapon here or something.
For the ladies, we have a rather feminine sidearm. It's the .45 Magnum Grizzly.
And I'm thinking, okay, they're going to have some kind of like Derringer or 22, just which, tend to be stereotypical. Like, okay, these are like women's guns or whatever. And he's like, oh, there's 45 here. And it's like, it's like, I don't know a whole lot about guns, but it's like, well, that's not like a dainty weapon.
I know.
And so
I wrote all of that down as well. That was so frustrating that they were talking about this gun. They're talking about all the cool things this gun can do. How it can like cut through a car, and I think it was a 22 Magnum with explosive ammunition available, and it's incredible. And then he goes, for the ladies, we have a rather feminine sidearm. It was like, cool, great. And yeah, it does pull out like a smaller gun, but still like a gun. It's not like I was expecting like a Men in Black moment where he pulls
Yeah,
out the
noisy cricket.
Yeah.
noisy cricket. That wasn't the case. It was like still a pretty serious gun. It was just like the weirdest moment, and all the women in the room were like, "Yes, yes, this is normal." Yes.
But again, was that a joke by the script, or am I giving it too much credit? I don't know.
You can't tell with this script. You just don't know. I mean, think about the first time that you meet Kiki. Yeah, she walks out. It's just there's a scene right before where it's a guy talking on the phone again, and then immediate cut to a beach, and a woman starts walking towards you, and it's like, oh, them's some boobs. There they are, just topless. All right. And then at the end, and then at the end of that scene, she gets up and turns around to leave, and the camera's pretty close to her posterior, her fanny, and we get to watch her pull out a wedgie real close up. It's great. But it's like, is the movie trying to be funny, or is it just they shot
was that
this,
the best take?
You're right. Yeah, exactly. It's like, what were their choices being made? Was there only one shot and they didn't have the chance to do it again? I think if we think too hard,
look, the distributor said we had to be up to an hour 20 or they weren't taking it. So I'm not shaving any of these scenes down.
I will say I did get the feeling with everything that they shot in Cannes that they got 0 permits and were rushing very quickly to get things done.
Oh, yeah.
And just hoping for one boat that would stay long enough that they could establish his terror yacht.
Like, literally, we've been talking about how they have the subtitles. That's not it. The card at the bottom that says where a thing is. And when they show the yacht, it just says terrorist yacht. Like, it is the yacht owned by terrorists. And it was just amazing.
Yeah.
And then they do voiceover for things that are being spoken inside the yacht, but you never go inside the yacht. It's just this really, really, really zoomed in shot of this yacht that they definitely didn't get permission to shoot.
Like those text slides in silent movies did less than what is going on here. Because I also just want to point out, I am at the point now where the Chiron reads American ambassador, comma, and daughter.
Yes.
No comma. Taken to terrorist hideout Tuesday, 8:10 a.m. It's like place and plot point.
Thank God they gave us the time. Otherwise, I would have been totally lost.
Yeah, they got them before breakfast. That's evil, man. That is not fine. I will say that I really love Hassan's last words before he's shot, where he says, "My son, my friend."
My son, my friend.
Which immediately made me think, oh, this is not a healthy relationship. I mean, yeah, you raised your kid to lead a terror cell, but that's weird, man. Along with the guns. So something about that I found really funny is if you go through the credits, which I would blame none of you for doing, half the thank you credits are listing every single gun that they showed and the companies that made them and where to buy them. So this might have been part of their budget, was just introducing these guns and then never using them during the ultimate fight.
Well, literally, one of the first images we have on screen is when, I don't even know where the fuck we were in time and space, but we were in some fucking office that was probably the same office that they used for like 6 different people.
Correct.
But I think it might have been supposed to have been the ambassador's office or something for Israel, because there was a Star of David behind him. But there were also 2 fucking Uzis, just like put on the wall behind his head.
Yep.
And I just like stared at that for a while, and it was like, is there any like serious governmental agency in the world, even like the fucking like alcohol, tobacco, and firearms of the US, where they would just have guns mounted behind them? No plaque or anything. It's not like this is some special ceremonial gun. Just guns, just if you need them. They're right here on the wall behind you.
Aimed at his head, too.
Aimed at his head. Yeah. It's like, what in the Knives Out is happening here?
Which, this does remind me of one thing that I want to say. It happens throughout the movie, but the first 10 to 15 minutes, it happens constantly. We will be in the desert, or what is supposed to pass as the desert, and we'll be in different scenes. But when we're not in one of those scenes, the regular thing that happens is we're bouncing back to a room with various characters. It's either Bo or some like the guy with the guns, or someone else, or some like thin old man character. It's multiple people. And my question was this movie funded by Big Telephone? Because there are just so many telephone scenes. It's just characters on phones talking out the plot, calling other people, and you get them on the phone, and they're all just sitting in these static places. There's no movement. There's no, fucking Aaron Sorkin walk and talks going on. No action.
No
It's
cuts.
just somebody just sitting at a desk with a phone, not even a red phone. It's not even like, this is like a serious emergency. It's just like, hey, Bill, yeah, I don't know, another day, another dollar over here at the Bureau. Yeah, I don't know, somebody's ambassador his daughter got abducted or some shit. I don't know. We got to do something. Oh, is that right? Yeah, just phones everywhere all the time.
And you're barely exaggerating about that dialogue. Like, there's one time where one of the desk men is talking to his assistant, I guess. And he says, get so-and-so on the phone.
Julie, get me Bandana on the phone.
And there's this long pause. And then she goes,
At the base or at his home?
At his home.
Yes, sir.
why is that in the movie? We don't need that. That's worthless. That's nothing. Why is that there?
He was trying to earn a raise. I don't know why you have to.
No, see, it is important, Jack, because that's how important it is. He needs her to get him at his house because this is not just a work thing. That guy, if he's at home, he still is on the clock for this.
I see. Great. Thanks for clearing that up, Linton. I rescind my statement.
The movie is very deep, Jack.
The other one that I liked, I think it's the same guy because his assistant says, Stryker's on the phone, sir. And he says, okay, just a minute, no problem. And then sits there and keeps drawing. He's got like a ruler out and he's drawing on his desk. And it's about, I don't know, 5 or 10 seconds. He finishes drawing a line and then he talks to him on the phone. It's like, again, why did we need that? Why do we need to see him doing his little art? I mean, I'm sure he's supposed to be.
I was just so excited to get like a different angle because it also doesn't look like the same person.
It's like, and they only show those title card once, and I know we're making fun of them. We're like, they're so stupid, but they're also not helpful because they flash them for like 2 seconds, and then you never see them again, and you do not remember who that was because you see a bunch of them in a row. It's like, I don't know who a single person in this movie is. Not a clue.
Well, I think now's a pretty good time to really point out Lieutenant Colonel Gritz's ability to plan, to really give strong details on how they're going to get the ambassador and his daughter back. And I'm really glad they focused on this for about 5 to 6 minutes while using bad theater blocking, where everyone's just in a line. But it made me think, you know what this guy'd be good at? He'd probably be a good president. So Bo would make his first turn into politics in 1988 when he decided he was going to run for the vice presidential nomination of the Populist Party. The Populist Party was started in 1984 by Willis Carto, and it was essentially a way to get the Ku Klux Klan back into politics. Yeah, Willis Carto is one of history's greatest monsters. So Willis was also renowned for his white supremacism, his anti-Semitism, and Holocaust denial, which is the Nazi trio. So
the holy trio.
The first nominee for the Populist Party for president in 1984 would be gold medal Olympian and the first athlete ever on a box of Wheaties, Bob Richards. And Bob was very fond of eugenics and believing that white people were naturally more athletic, which is why he won gold medals. So they ran him for president. It didn't go great. But Bo was ready for 1988 because he thought the party was going to nominate Ohio Congressman and future prisoner Jim Trafficant.
I love future prisoner.
That's so good.
Yes. I mean, we will be doing a Trafficant episode someday. I just need some free time and self-care.
Was he trafficking in cocaine?
How do I block on this?
Oh, no.
But for some reason, Trafficant decided he wasn't going to run for president for this KKK party, so they had to get someone else.
For some reason.
They ended up finding someone who did have political experience. They found a state representative from Louisiana who has a lot of management experience. He knows how to run large organizations and to coordinate. So yeah, he seems like a good candidate. David Duke. The Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, David Duke, who was just about to run for governor of Louisiana and almost win, decided he was going to run for president 1 year into his first term as a state representative. Bo was
This
that was a line
like late 80s, right?
Yep, late 80s, so 1988. So for Bo, that was a bridge too far, and he demanded that his name be removed from the ticket. But in 1992, he ended up winning their presidential nomination. He would run on a platform of fighting the New World Order, battling globalists, and abolishing the IRS. Thoughts?
This is all going to be audio, but I do wish we could just see Jack's face for that statement. It was quite pained, and I enjoyed it.
So to answer your question, Jack, yeah, this guy is less than great. And he's gonna get worse. I'm sorry.
But he didn't want to be on the ticket with David Duke, right? That's what you said?
Yep, yeah. He wanted.
Okay.
Yeah. So, there's the line. So he would end up getting the nomination for the Populist Party. He finished in 5th place with 106,000 votes.
Wow.
Yeah, he got 3.5% in Utah. I believe he got nearly 3% in Idaho.
Wait, whoa, back up. So that third party, I mean, I know that that's like minuscule as far as the country, but still, they had enough out there, like even enough like, I mean, this is early 90s. I don't know how many like TV ads they would have run, but at least some kind of grassroots advertising. They had enough to get 106,000 votes out of it. That's still heinous.
Yeah. Willis Carto was very, very good at spreading word amongst racists in America.
Oh, okay.
Based on the results, I think most of his voting block came from what's known as the American Redoubt, which was a movement to get all the racists to move to Northwest America to take over communities and start their own governments. There's a wonderful documentary called Welcome to Leith where that almost happened in a small town in South Dakota. For the most part, they have not succeeded very well and have to live in the woods in weird communes that almost never work out.
Yeah, well, at least there's that.
Yeah, that's a shining silver light in our democracy.
Yeah.
Everyone else is like, oh, stop, don't, come back.
So this plan is to go into the PLO base. They're going to get the ambassador and his daughter, which are chained up like Roman prisoners, just leaning against the wall, pretending to be chained up.
Super pretending as hard as they can that they are real bound.
Look, I will give this. If I had to name another good actor in this movie, I think the daughter is doing her best.
She's definitely yelling sometimes, which she shows emotion, and that's more than most people in this movie. So,
look, I was told repeatedly in high school, yelling is not acting, and did I listen? No, never.
No.
So, small congratulations to Joanna Pine for her only role ever as eventually topless daughter. I'm getting ahead of myself. So the rescue force is going in to save the ambassador. They're going to do a pincher movement. And
that's right.
I would love to hear, like we've already done our critique about how the fight is so boring, but was there anything that actually stood out during the fight while you were watching it?
Yes. Absolutely. So, they have the scene where they show all of the people gearing up, which is mostly just close-ups of women zipping and buckling and all of this sort of thing. But what I wrote down is like once they're all ready to go, they're just blondes and white tank tops. And I'm like, oh yeah, sure, that would not be seen in the desert. That would be so unnoticeable. And they show the two, I think it's Kiki and Angel are the ones who specifically go towards the cave. And they are just crawling around on the sides of the rocks and everything. And it's like, they're right there. It's so obvious. They stick out like a sore thumb. I'm like, good job, government. So good at this.
I'll say the one bit that stuck out to me, and it's really only kind of clicking in my head now, but it struck me as weird, but I was so checked out at this point in watching the movie that I didn't register. But so near the end here, sorry if I'm skipping ahead of this amazing plot. And if you're following along in the plot of Rescue Force, well done.
Better than us.
But yeah, eventually the rescue force is able to rescue, again, sorry, Dusty, but they rescue both the ambassador and the daughter. And one of the ladies calls in to, I don't know, Stryker or somebody on the team. It's a male voice. And they need to get picked up because there's, like fucking like gunfire and shit going on. So they're going to have like a helicopter come by. And she gives coordinates. I don't know if they're real coordinates as far as like what they would be in reality, but like at least as far as me, a viewer, it's like, okay, she's giving coordinates, sure, fine, whatever. So she gives explicit coordinates, and then the guy on the other end of the walkie-talkie says,
are there any easily identifiable landmarks where we can set our helo down?
She gave you fucking coordinates. Like he's asking it like he's like trying to like figure out how to get to Denny's from somebody's house. Like, what do I need to look for? Is there a gas station there? Did I go too far? It's like, just land where she told you. Yep. That's it.
I had the same thought. They're obsessed with coordinates in this movie. They keep mentioning them in like almost every scene for no reason at all. Just here's some coordinates. Here's some more coordinates. Here's some coordinates. I don't care. That means nothing.
It adds color to the world building.
I am glad that the Israeli government sent their one weather chopper to pick them up, though. That was really nice. I think that's a really good summary of the fight, though. It's there were two things I noticed that made me just ecstatically happy. One was a very quick shot of a guy who was running around, supposedly a member of the PLO, the Aryan branch of the PLO, and he's just like running around on a walkie-talkie, and it seems like he was the last last guy to show up on costume day. We're out of WWE Iron Sheik costumes. You gotta do what you can. And I swear to God, he is running around in like a metal t-shirt with like a very loose headscarf.
Yes, it's absurd.
During the fight, there's these two dudes in a helicopter, and they both look high as fuck. They're just baked and dropping grenades. It's beautiful.
I think I know what you're talking about. I caught one shot where it was like a guy, like his face is almost pressed up against a window.
Yes.
And it just looked like one of the stoner kids from like the beginning of Super Troopers.
Yeah. Just like haphazardly tossing out grenades. Like, I don't know, sure.
We forgot to bring the guns. I don't know, man.
Shit.
I think my personal favorite, though, is there's a shot where it's this guy firing an anti-aircraft gun, but it's clearly not loaded with anything. So he's just kind of shaking it, and it's on a rubber pole.
Yes.
So it makes it look like he's humping the air while firing it. And it's at that moment I thought, you know what? These guys are in trouble. I don't think they're going to win. I think the rescue force might have their number.
Also, as far as weird continuity things, we talked about how they were going to give the ladies the dainty gun that wasn't dainty. But then I noticed in the big battle, they were like firing fucking Gatling guns or some shit. They had some like huge fucking thing that I don't even know if we saw it during the gun scene.
The gun sounds seem to be totally random.
Oh, they're bad. It's bad gun
so
foley.
Bad. It's like the same gun does a bunch of different noises. Some of them sound like a child's pew 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 toy, and it's like, where are you getting this? I mean, the audio in this whole thing is just awful. The editing is some of the worst I have ever seen, which is why it made so much sense that this is their first time doing it, because it's bad. He'll cut off a sentence sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just yeah.
Yeah, I personally love how if they're switching between scenes, the music will change with the scenes.
Stop. Yep, absolutely. Sometimes within a scene, the music will change by cut. Like it'll cut to a different shot and then cut back, and the music goes with it. And I'm like, what are you doing?
We'll talk about it for the final scene. We'll talk about it in a bit. I love how the music always shifts from like sexy fun time music to evil timpanis.
Yes. Another bit about this fight. I mean, we talked about that it is just a bunch of shots of explosions, and that's pretty much it. Oh, and some shots of people fake shooting guns, really poorly fake shooting a gun. But it's also cutting in between the plot of Kiki and Angel going to the cave. We haven't really talked about the like angry blonde Russian.
Okay,
woman.
yeah. Who is that person? Because I thought like she's walking around everywhere with her hands behind her back, and I'm just like, are you also handcuffed but allowed to move, or are you in charge? Again, I don't have sound for context.
Right.
I think it's a Grand Moff Tarkin kind of thing in Star Wars where like somehow she's in charge. We don't know why.
Yeah, it's never really settled. She's just kind of there, and like, it's part of my duty to be here for Russia and make sure you guys are doing good work, but I'm not going to get involved.
Yeah. She specifically says she's KGB, and it's like, she is so bizarre. She's such a weird character. We kind of first see her in the very beginning when they are dealing with the person we didn't even talk about because it was so pointless. The person, a CIA agent who was kidnapped by the PLO earlier, and they do this video with him, a ransom video. And then at the end of, once they're done, as soon as they hit cut on the recording, she's like, "You miserable CIA agent, we don't need you anymore," and just like shoots him. And you don't know who she is. She's never explained at that point. She's just there and looks like a regular blonde woman with a big braid down her back, and she just keeps popping up. You never get a name. You don't even find out really that she's KGB until, I don't know, 50 minutes, like when they're in the cave, like way towards the end. Oh, by the way, this explosion bit, I timed it. The last fight scene is 20 straight minutes. It goes from 53:27 to 1:13:40. 20 minutes of just, here's a lot of explosions, you guys, and sometimes a tiny bit of plot sprinkled in just to keep you entertained.
So I was gonna say, if you were worried that the acting in that CIA agent and Russian woman scene wasn't that good, it's mostly because the guy playing the CIA agent was pulling triple duty in this movie. That guy was also in charge of firearms and explosions.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, he was above and below the line simultaneously for this film?
Yep. He was behind the scenes and forced to do a line of dialogue.
God. And yeah, his recording, his like ransom video recording is very pathetic and very like, I think at one point he says, "I would like to say hello to my family."
I want to say hello to my family and friends and hope to be with them very soon.
It's like, great. Okay. You're great at this. But the woman, she keeps making a comeback. She has a line later in the cave with the two captives. And she's like, she's talking about the KGB and how great they are. She says,
"We, the KGB, have been in operation a lot longer than your CIA. Consequently, we are better."
It's like, that's her argument. Hey, we've been around longer, so we're better. Boom. And then the daughter, her name is Cindy, she just goes,
"Screw you!"
Like, that's her great big response to it.
So good, though.
So deep.
So good. Just embarrassing her father during their lowest moments.
Yes. Her dad hanging next to her is like, "Don't stoop to their level, honey."
I told you I would only bring you to Tel Aviv if you were on your best behavior. You are ruining birthright, Cindy.
Oh,
I don't know. Do we want to talk about that weird interaction between like the sexual assault, or do we want to skip that?
I mean, we have to mention it as like even hey, this happens in this terrible movie. And if you're like, haha, all fun and games, listen, there's this. This happens. Someone
Yeah,
thought
it was
this
in
a good
Cindy's
idea.
contract. She had to be topless for a bit.
Like, that's what it feels. Every woman in this movie, it's like, okay, except for this the KGB woman, I guess, because she's not young, she's older. So
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
apparently no one wants to see that. Whatever, equality. Anyway,
Jack, she's 28. I don't know what you want.
she's over the hill. Basically.
I would also argue that she is a villain and Russian, so we're not supposed to see her sexualized. We're supposed to be like, no, you're bad. You're from the bad side, because this is 1990.
Yeah.
So
I guess, yeah.
Oh, that means she's not going to have a job in 2 years.
Oh, pour one out. She doesn't know what's coming to her.
Man.
That's the real subtext of this movie.
Fighting that tough in Gorbachev's Russia, that's not fun. So yeah, I do appreciate the ambassador gets kneed in the balls so hard he passes out.
But yes, he does. But it's also like he acts it very well. But it's the most haphazard kneeing of all time. He's just the actor who does it to him is just kind of like, I mean, I guess here's my knee. I'm gonna make basic contact with your balls, and then the ambassador's like, Ugh.
I would say it's one of like the better examples of editing, because the knee goes and it's like, it looks like you hit the other guy's knee. Oh, but look at the facial reaction now.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm there with you. This is fine.
no, see, he had a bad knee. That was the issue.
Oh, that's what it was.
Gamey leg.
Yeah. I do wish he would have had a little more direction of just like, please look away from your daughter when the assault is occurring.
Dude, that was so, oh God. Yeah. And okay, so the terrorists are kind of like making remarks about like, oh, there's this girl here, we can do whatever we want. And the ambassador goes, if anything happens to my daughter, you'll pay.
If anything happens to my little girl, you'll pay for it.
Like, there's this awkwardly long pause. I can't remember who says it, but the next line is somebody who says, I don't pay for anything. I don't carry money or visa or
That's
American
the
Express.
Russian lady.
I don't pay for anything. I don't carry money, nor visa, nor American Express.
Yeah, that was a definite attempt at a joke in the script, and I was not about to give them any smile, laugh, or recognition at all.
Awful. It's so bad. It's so dumb.
And thinking about it too, that was probably trying to play off of, because like I think in the 80s into the 90s is when those commercials are really popular of like people would be in some scenario and it would be like, if you're going to the Olympics, you have to have visa. They don't take American Express. And so I think they were playing off of that shit.
That was my guess as well. And it was like, whoop, that does nothing about that plays. But that's the last time that the ambassador kind of speaks up for his daughter, because then
he does do a weak ass kick.
This guy's the porn background is definitely coming out. Yeah, and then it's like as if that wasn't bad enough at what, like an hour into the movie of an hour and 20-minute movie.
Yeah.
But then you also have the like really cringy racial aspect of it.
Yes.
It's like, Oh no.
Yeah, but a white dude in brown face doing a thing.
Doing the exotified, like uncivilized.
Yes, it's just bad. It's like this whole movie has been tasteless and racist. And then this scene where Cindy gets fondled and her shirt gets taken off and she's not into it. And it's very uncomfortable. And it's like just takes it over the top. Like, wow, this is just, there's not even just poor taste, just like tasteless, awful, should not be in this movie. Hate it. Very bad.
I might be reading into it just because I want some comfort in this moment, but it seemed like the guy doing the fondling was very apprehensive, as if they didn't block this out ahead of time. Just like, we're going to hit cut, right? Cut? No? Oh.
The whole time it did feel that way, but I don't know if I was projecting. It was like, you never see the front of his face. There are no noises from him or anything. It's just like an actor kind of like, I guess I'm doing this.
I'm used to a sexual intimacy coordinator.
Yeah.
Guys.
I was told we were going to have an intimate practice. It was going to be fine. Yeah.
Very bad.
But hey, they end up getting set free. Angel and Kiki set them free. I honestly thought the Russian woman was going to kill Kiki because they're like, this is your first ever mission with live fire.
Right. Yes.
Which seems like a bad call.
Really, considering that the fondler got shot out by these two women, isn't this really like at its core a feminist movie?
You're right. You got it.
I'm pretty sure it does pass the Bechdel test. Speaking of which, I think this is a good segue towards the end. That love story between Angel and Stryker, my goodness.
Bro.
Are we gonna talk about Sex Tub?
Oh, we'll get to Sex Tub. I think we should start with awkward hotel phone conversation where she has his bottle of champagne that he loves and just at the temperature he likes, which I assume to be cold.
I happen to have some chilling in the bucket right now. What's your favorite temperature?
Here it is, lukewarm.
I would like a bucket of ice, 1981 Dom Perignon, and a thermometer.
And it's not for what you think.
Oh my God.
It's for that too, but this other thing first.
But also this other thing.
Either which way, you're not getting it back.
Yeah, they call, I don't know who calls who, but they're talking on the phone, both of them covering up their mouths the whole time and having just the worst banter. Ugh.
Which, is probably a good point to let you know that the actress who played Angel had a starring role. She is essentially in the 80s version of Encino Man called Cave Girl. So I don't think she really had any lines, but it was her and Daniel Roebuck, who character actor, you'd recognize him if you saw him. He's going to be Grandpa Munster in the Rob Zombie Monsters.
Oh yeah, okay, all right,
yeah.
Which that trailer just hit, and boy, did it look bad.
To have such low expectations for it to go below is truly,
I know.
Zombie.
The only good thing about the Munsters is the theme. I will hold to that, but this sunk below that expectation for me.
But Cynthia has only been in 6 movies. That was her one lead role, and she had a somewhat tertiary role in the Friday the 13th knockoff Body Count, where she was the most sex-loving teenager.
Oh.
That being said, I don't know if I sensed romance as much as responsibility during those scenes. This was very, very awkward, but I think is a very good way to Sex Tub. Linton, do us the honors of Sex Tub.
So we have our Charlie's Angels girls, who are the rescue force, and they all get together after forcing a rescue or whatever the fuck they did during the last hour, 20 minutes. And then they're in like a hotel room. And I think it might be one of them to start, or maybe 2. I don't know. But basically we get a woman who disrobes, because I don't know if it's clear that one is necessarily naked. I mean, they're in kind of like a tub, but it's like a bigger tub that more of like a romantic thing, like at certain hotels or whatever, or like a jacuzzi style thing.
Chock-a-block
but anyway,
bubbles.
Yeah. So you can't like explicitly see anything. I can't remember if 1 or 2 are in there, but yeah, then one of them definitely strips down and gets in. So then the implication is like, oh, so they're all naked in there. There's no swimsuits or anything. And they're all just like
this rescue force. It's not just one.
Yeah.
It's like
it's all the women. So I think it's 3.
And
And they're all
apparently there were
just
3 of them. I didn't
laughing
know.
and having a good time. And, I'm not saying anything had to have been going down, but it kind of seems to imply that, that it probably does. Like maybe that's their end of mission celebration. But up to this point, no kind of sexual leanings had been present. So just kind of seemed to lean into like male fantasy of like, oh yeah, we got these sexy ladies who saved the day. Of course, they're going to celebrate with some lesbian bubble bath sex.
That's just how us ladies hang out on the reg. That is just our casual platonic nude
All right.
baths.
I mean, if you're saying that those male sexual fantasies are apt, then okay. It's from you, Jack. That's I didn't say it.
I believe that means we're not the worst by at least a degree higher. The setup where we get to sexy bubble bath is really great because Angel and Kiki go to have dinner at a restaurant, which I thought there's no way in hell this has been filmed in France. And I looked it up. It was.
Oh my God.
It was filmed in Gordon, France. At I got to get this restaurant because the information about it is ludicrous. It's called Le Logis Césaron, and it is rated 1.5 stars out of 5 by 220 reviews, and it's considered to be the worst restaurant in Gordon.
Wow.
Well, now, but at the time, it was amazing.
Yeah, I read one reviewer was like, but they microwaved my goat cheese salad. Yeah, there's a picture of a pizza that someone got that looks like it's, they burnt the crust. The cheese looks somehow not cooked, and on top of it are 9 tiny pepperonis. They're not even symmetrical.
So there's no problem renting out this restaurant for a quick shoot.
Yeah. And so Kiki asks Angel, like, hey, what do you want to do after this? And she's like, I want to go to Whiskey Pete's, which is a casino in Prim, Nevada.
It
So
turns into this weird casino commercial all of a sudden. They're like, hey, we should call Kelly. She lives in Vegas. Go to Whiskey Pete's. I'm like, all right. Weird.
Yeah, and that's how they get the third for the tub fun. So they go to this middle of nowhere casino in Prim, Nevada to have sex tub with a bowl of fruit that someone's giving to them.
Yeah, I think it's Kelly, I'm guessing.
Oh, that would make a lot more sense. I thought it was just like some guy who works there.
No, I thought that at first.
But the restaurant is like in the movie, it's supposed to be France, and they're just like, I'm asking. Like that's so it's just like, on a whim, let's go from France to Prim, Nevada.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Also,
well, look, when you are at the level of the rescue force, the sky's the limit. You just globetrot wherever you need to get to. Money's not an object, so
look, I'm down with that fantasy. I'm here for it. I just wanted clarification.
Yeah, the restaurant, I would like to note, is also labeled restaurant. Like the outside of it has a big sign on it that just says restaurant. So just in case you weren't sure where they were, they're at restaurant.
Yeah, they were really good before the
Oh my God, it literally says Kiki and Angel's favorite restaurant.
It does.
It is not. It cannot be their favorite
I just saw it. Oh, yeah. Well,
impossible. I don't believe that in this world.
It's their favorite. How dare you? Don't judge their taste. They are heroes.
They did save an ambassador.
And his daughter.
Yeah. And I think killed most of the PLO. It's very confusing. But you would think going to Prim, Nevada, to Whiskey Pete's of all places, they would be secret. No one would find them. But some feet step off of an airplane. And I don't know if Prim has an airport, but it's alluded that they do. And some mysterious stranger is following them. Hence where we start getting sexy music, Evil Timpani, going back and forth as he gets closer and closer to their hotel room.
Because the girls are in there. They keep cutting back to shots of the women. Like they're playing with each other and they're like splashing each other. And you can see everyone's boobs at this point. And that's where you're like, okay, yeah, this director did porn for sure. Because this is just that. But then cutting into the extreme close-up of shoes in the hallway with the danger timpani. Just cut.
I was thinking a lot, like, who do we know who wears shoes that we should be scared of?
Right? It's like literally anyone.
But yeah, that final twist that it's just good old Stryker here to show up for a 3-lady tub party.
Oh, and then there's a freeze frame. Don't forget the beautiful freeze frame.
Yes. I'm just like, it just freezes on Stryker, just like, how do I keep an end to these situations?
Okay, Okay. But the part, like, even leading up to that, so, we have the tension of, oh no, somebody's coming and they're going to get him. And somebody knocks on the door, interrupting the naked tub party. And one of the women gets out. And what I wrote down was a very dry woman stands up and grabs her gun. Because, like, when she stands into the scene, there's no water whatsoever. There's no bubbles on her. Her hair is dry. Everything's dry. But she's totally nude. And she gets her gun and she goes to the door. She does not look through the peephole. She does not listen. She does not look like in any way. She just opens the door totally nude and aims the gun, and not even well. Like, it's not even a like opens the door and swings around real quick with the gun. She just kind of opens the door and has gun. Like, it's so bizarre. Surprises Stryker. Hooray.
Yeah. And I assume Stryker then just had awkward banter with them until they all went home.
Yeah. Dun.
So yeah, that is Rescue Force. A movie that
Rusty made us watch.
I did. I made you all watch this movie. I have a penance above my head for the things that I've made you watch, at least, Linton. And now I have to add this to my eternal yoke in hell. Oh my God.
An entire apple in the hot tub.
Right?
Right?
Are you watching that scene right now?
Yeah, I just got to that.
Great. So
Stem
good.
and all?
It's not even like sliced.
Yeah, sliced seems like it would be better. Like, they have knives. We had a whole montage of knives.
It's like cracking into this. Yeah, this is wild.
Yes, it is.
This movie is giving me kind of like an out of body experience as I'm watching it without the sound.
Yeah,
because I'm realizing it's like. Wait, sorry, what?
I said you're the lucky one.
It is absolutely a movie thrown onto a projector at a hipster dive bar. Honestly, like I need to be listening to Fleet Foxes way too loud and drinking PBR, and that may have happened to me, which is why I'm just like, I feel weird.
So now that the movie's ended, I guess it's probably time to tell you guys what happened to our friend Bo Gritz. And here's where it gets worse. So before we celebrate Bo too much for making a really good plan and saving the ambassador and rising the rescue force higher in the ranks, in the mid-90s, Bo got really into the Christian identity movement. Are either of you familiar about what that is?
No.
Lucky you. I'm about to make it worse. So essentially, it's a subset of British Israelism, where the belief is the children of Abraham are not the Jews. They are, in fact, Aryans. Ipso facto, Aryans are the chosen race of God.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I can see where this is headed.
If your guess was he decides to go up to Idaho to make his own commune, you're right. So he goes up there, he starts making friends with all the various militias that are up there. He buys a huge tract of land, so the locals are once again very mad that a militia has shown up and bought large tracts of land, and people are building very shitty shacks on it. What Bo doesn't expect, though, is not that many people take him up on his offer. Maybe like 2 or 3 people go up and build homes up there, and it becomes such a failure that he just leaves in the middle of the night, abandoning everyone who's there. And this ends up destroying his reputation amongst the white nationalist militia movement, which, devastating, I'm sure.
Ooh.
But he does stay within the Christian identity movement, but only through the Mormon Church. The Mormon Church has a subsect that believes that particular form of Christianity. So to my knowledge, he's still within that church to this day. He still does occasional interviews every once in a while, but for the most part, he's lived a very quiet life. He ended up moving to the town where they filmed this movie and lives on an abandoned airfield where he just shacks up his plane and flies it whenever he wants. And he'll do various interviews about the time that he was the main negotiator trying to get Randy Weaver to leave Ruby Ridge, or all of his various military experiences or trying to take over Laos or running for president. But these are things that you can learn about yourselves if you want to go back and listen to our 3-parter on Bo Gritz and all the strange shit he did.
As you've been unveiling all of this about him, because I didn't really know anything about him, and I did look him up on Wikipedia, and I saw he's like in his, I think, early 80s right now. And you said he ran on, it was like the populist ticket was what it was, and so like very nationalistic and talking about New World Order and globalist shit. I guess my big question is, how was he not a part of Donald Trump's cabinet? How did that not happen?
He's not a big enough name anymore. He's just burned so many bridges that he's just not a guy that people really talk about that much anymore.
Okay.
If Trump ran in the mid-90s, he would absolutely be in some defense position of some sort, but he's just burned too many bridges and isn't really trying to keep up on social awareness of who he is or running grifts anymore. Oh, I also forgot he trained the Mujahideen as well, supposedly. So we can thank him for that. So yeah, if you want to learn more about Bosif, I would highly recommend diving into that because it just never stops getting weird. But yeah, any final thoughts on the rescue force and the acting performance of Bo Gritz? Can you believe this was his only movie?
Wow. I mean, he was just too busy doing so many other important things.
Yeah.
I'm sure he turned down many offers. Wow.
I mean, I know you're being sarcastic, but I feel like other people had to have been offering him stuff during his Rambo years.
It's Rambo years. Guys, don't watch this movie.
I'm excited because I'm realizing I think Key and Peele had a sketch called Strike Force Eagle 3 The Reckoning, and I just figure it's like, generically about these cheesy 80s movies, and now I'm wondering if the Bo Gritz Strike Force may have been very much an influence.
I mean, his book very much did define the genre of group of renegade military go into a dangerous place against top brass orders to do what needs to be done. I'm sure there have been other versions before that, but the quintessential 80s version of that is birthed directly from Bo Gritz.
There's even a line in this movie that is that one of the phone suits says, there are some limp-wristed politicians in Washington, D.C. who have ordered us to wait for something to happen. Well, to hell with them.
Well, to hell with them.
That was one of his lines. I don't have much to say on it. I had minimal notes and was just kind of freestyling as we went off of certain things. But yeah, it was just, like I said at the top, it's bad, but in not a fun way, in a very boring way. So I was struggling even to mine comedy out of it. So even if you like, bad movies, Mystery Science Theater stuff or whatever, it's not hitting that sweet spot. We're doing our damnedest here to make it into something interesting or worth talking about. But if you watch it all the way through without speeding it up, my hat is off to you, sir or madam.
Or without sound. Yeah, Linton, I totally agree. It's a little heartbreaking that it isn't camp. That you have these hella permed women dune buggying out in the desert with an Uzi. And it's and this still isn't campy fun.
I wrote early in my notes that this feels like something that would be on MST3K. And then later in my notes, I was like, I see why this is not on MST3K. It's just not fun enough. I would maybe recommend watching it until you get bored. It'll be very fast. It'll be very quick. But just to get an idea of how terrible the
ending is. If you've got 3 minutes to spare, this is the one.
Yeah. Oh, it's so awful.
But also to our indie filmmakers, I feel like you will learn a lot watching it because you learn a lot by watching the bad as well as the good. Yeah.
I mean, Linton, you know me. I like a lot of really bad movies unironically. I don't know, things Talking Cat is one of my favorite bad movies.
I'm sorry, do you mean A Talking Cat?
Yeah, you're right. I'm wrong. I should go to hell for that. But yeah, in this movie,
wait. Were you joking when you just said that it was one of your favorite movies of all time? You did not say that on. Okay.
Yeah.
That classification is at least a little better.
No,
I was very concerned for a moment, Dusty.
Friendship over.
I was gonna do a mental health check on you with some people.
And of course, M. Night Shyamalan's Old is up there. But yeah, it's old.
No, Dusty, no.
Hey, old. You're classifying old as that level of bad?
No, it's not. It's
okay, because it wasn't amazing, but it had some stuff that worked.
I always look for stuff that. My question with bad movies is always: can people get drunk and or high to this and have a fun time in a group of 5 or more? And there's moments where I feel like that could happen. There's a shot where they accidentally make Stryker teleport across the street. It's very jarring. In that moment, I was like, oh, there's going to be some more good stuff. And that ends up being the high points of errors. And that 20-minute fight scene, I don't know how you could keep the energy up during that moment if you're with friends. There's just not that much to joke about.
So boring.
And
explosion after explosion. And you're just like, I wish I were in one of those right now.
Well, I mean, the problem is the explosions always happen 20 feet away from the target. So I don't know. You're never going to be hit. Small side thing. I do love during the very first fight that happens, they're firing firing bazookas at people who are running, which is a huge waste of artillery. I don't know who trained these people, but clearly they need a refresher course. But yeah, I had so many hopes going into it, but I'm excited I was excited to see Bo Gritz play himself, I guess, and work the room as best he could move. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Do you guys have anything you want to pitch? Anything you want to have people listen to?
Yeah. So Dusty mentioned earlier on the show, so I run a podcast called Uncanny Cinema, and I alluded to it. We look at more obscure movies. So sometimes they're like weird, off the beaten path stuff that you would see maybe on a Mystery Science Theater. And then oftentimes they're actually just like good films, but ones that didn't get their due. They didn't do well in the theater or just are not like certified classics. And then 3 times a year, we will break from that format. That's at Christmas, April Fool's Day, and then once in the summer, we break from that format to do something actually famous so that we kind of get a break from those and do something a little different. So the movies, we actually just did a Talking Cat. That episode dropped today, and I'll promote it tomorrow, although that's this recording won't be going out for a couple weeks. So Talking Cat is out, which features Dusty and Jack on that. One after that'll come out right before this episode, I think, is one on The Show and Showpieces, which are from the comic book writer Alan Moore. He started to venture into film. And then the one after that, Jack and I are on an episode with a couple people where we looked at the modern classic Midsummer, which recently, when Dusty was in town, I learned that he actually does not like that movie, which just was appalling. And I had to say it here live on this because Jack's here and I knew she would back me up with her anger, her righteous
I'm very upset.
Look,
A Talking Cat gets a pass, but Midsommar, like one of the greatest horror movies in cinema. No,
Is that why you were going off about A24 films on the D&D group chat?
Whoa! Now you're trashing all A24. What's
No.
this shit?
No, I was
it was a massacre.
Look, you're taking my words out of context here. Don't make me get the rescue force. What I said was there's something broken in me that, much like Russian literature or Greek wine, I cannot understand Ari Aster movies as hard as I try. I recognize I'm broken, but for some reason they just don't hit.
Well, okay. As long as you recognize that you're the wrong person.
Yeah, I
then
mean,
we can be okay.
Agreed. It's one of those things where it's like, I should be loving this, but...
Wait, although I've just realized, okay, if you don't like... I don't want to say relate to them, but if you're not like moved by them on some level, maybe you're the less broken person. Maybe you're okay, and we're all super messed up because we're like, yes, Ari Aster really knows what's up.
I don't think that's it, Jack.
Yeah,
Surely not.
We had a good conversation pinning it down where you were like, you named a bunch of movies that I don't find funny or don't find scary that most people do, and it seems to be like a certain emotion that just doesn't quite hit.
But yeah, so that was just my little moment of throwing Dusty under the bus on his own show.
Appreciate it.
Come and listen to my show, Uncanny Cinema. There is a Twitter page and a Facebook page, Uncanny Cinema. The Twitter is also at Cinema Uncanny. You can find it that way, the handle. And then obviously it goes out through Apple and Spotify and, all the different podcast apps. So give us a listen. It tends to be pretty fun, I feel. I always host, but we have a rotating cast of people. So Dusty's been on numerous times. Jack, who is guesting with me here on the show, is nearly a co-host. She's on it more than anyone except our friend Eric.
Screw him.
But we have a rotating cast of a lot of different people. So we get a lot of different viewpoints and whatnot. And then we do every genre, so we don't hold back on any of that kind of stuff. So thank you for the plug opportunity. So if anyone's out there, listen to our show.
Well, everyone, thank you for joining us on this very first episode of Gadfly Movie Night. We'll see if we do another one in the future. There's 2 movies at best that I can think of that would fit within the qualifications that we're looking for. Everything else would just be a very evil stretch to just Una, you remember Superdell? He's the guy who kicks birds when he paraglides and made a bunch of computers in Utah.
What?
Yeah, Superdell Shans. He's the guy who was running for governor of Utah a few times and just had annoying TV commercials.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, he's a menace, but he was in a Mormon movie playing a Star Trek guy, and I was considering it, but it seems like he only has like 2 seconds of screen time, and I'm not going to do that. So there's a
Predator with Jesse the Body Ventura.
Yeah.
I will find a Jesse the Body Ventura movie that no one knows about, and we'll do that. Something post gubernatorial life. Either which way, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We will be back next week with a regular episode. We'll see you next time on Gadfly. Popcorn sounds. Gadfly is a production of Added Serotonin. Our episodes are edited by Brianna Valentine of Rem Alternus Productions. Our theme song is Sophomore Makeout by Silent Partner, and you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at GadflyPod.
Ready to level up your cosplay game? Check out the Geek Forge on Etsy. With a variety of props to give your photos that extra spark, you'll find just what you need. Hold magical fire in the palm of your hand, or take a potion to restore your mana. With a large variety of colors, you can choose your own magical flavor for your cosplay. Bring drama to your photo shoots with these vibrant props and more, all available at the Geek Forge. Are you ready to level up your cosplay?